There we go. There we go. I can't be overly loud, you guys. So glad you all are jumping on the scope. Thank you so much for the replay viewers and the live viewers as you guys are pinging in. Tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about healthy relationships and specifically how do you break soul ties. Before we do that, you guys go ahead and come in the room, invite your friends. Invite your friends to the scope. Go ahead and swipe left, up, and down, depending if you have an Android or iPhone. Get in the room and let's go. So excited, so excited, so excited. So hey, as we're waiting for people to kind of get into the room, I'm going to go ahead and share with you a little bit about who I am. And I know Periscope's been kind of weird, so some of you guys may be in the room, but for whatever reason can't comment. So there's some folks go, hey there. That looks like a troll. Hey troll, are you a troll? Or are you a real person? Well, all trolls are real persons, people too. Anyway, let me know where you're scoping from. Let me know where you're scoping from. My name is Jill Bullock, and I'm actually one of the founders of an organization called Detour Movement, where we believe when you renew your mind, you transform your entire life. And you know what? It's like a domino effect, because when you change the trajectory of your life by the decisions you make and by how you show up in the world, you change your relationships and you change how you operate in your professional life and in your business. So you can see me as a transformational catalyst. Sometimes I call myself the healthy, happy, love expert, because I really am just super passionate about attracting, helping women make the right choice in their dating relationships. Hey Sharonda, so glad you were able to join and catch the scope today. I was just giving a little intro about who I am. As people are pinging in the room, hey beautiful. So tonight I'm going to share with you guys just a little bit about soul ties. Hey beloved 44, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the scope, you guys. Let me know where you guys are scoping from. Let me know where you guys are scoping from. I should have had my earpiece in. He's upstairs. Demetria! Are you at the Dream Girls? Well, I'm talking about Dream Girls. Are you at the PJ party? A lot of you guys are at the PJ party. Everybody's at the PJ party. Laugh out loud. Oh my God. I hope you guys scope some for tonight for me. Hey love, the hair is nice. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta touch up. My stylist is like, you gotta get the touch up because red phase, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm like, let me go ahead and do that. Oh God, so you guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and invite your followers. If you know people who have been stuck in bad relationships, unhealthy relationships, perhaps seem like they're weighted emotionally, or perhaps holding on to old people, things in past relationships, get them on the scope. I am, okay. I hear you, I hear you. I am not mad at you. I am not mad at you. All right, you guys. So, as I mentioned, I am Jill Bullock, and I'm one of the founders of Detour Movement, Inc. And we believe renew your mind, transform your life. I help women to make the right decisions in their relationships, right? And what I want to share with you today is a little bit about breaking soul ties. And first, before I even do that, I want to share with you and make sure you know how soul ties are formed. And I'm not being super loud because I'm actually sharing space with my husband, and he's watching TV. Like, I'm like, don't you know the studio shop is open tonight? What are you doing? Like, why are you wrecking my flow? So he's like less than 50 feet away from me trying to watch TV. So I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna be too loud, but I gotta do my scope. I'm just saying. We gotta rearrange his TV time because it's conflicting. Things you have to worry about when you get married. I'm telling you. So anyway, what I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about, and I wrote some notes here so that I don't forget, I know. I wrote some notes here so I don't forget, is one, I want to talk about how soul ties are formed and how they work. Because if you like me, I know I used to hear it all the time, and I'm like, what is a soul tie? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, my soul is tied? Like, what's soul tie? But what is the point to understand is first to understand how God created us and understanding how our soul played in with our emotions, right? So understand when God created you, He created you with 5 senses, right? Your sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. right? All of those. And then within that, that's kind of like our makeup. All those things connect us to the world. And that's even powerful, you guys. Let me even pause there. When you think about it, your sight, sound, smell, touch, taste, all those senses is what connects you to the outside world. That's key. Okay, now when God created you, He also created you with your mind, your will, and with your emotions, right? And all of that, as that means if that's the core of who you are, your mind, your spirit, and your emotions, then you have, you can imagine, like if it's a cross at the top here, you have the spirit, and you have a gateway that connects you to God. But then that there's always there's Satan out there, and depending on if you have that gateway at the bottom open or closed, it may be open to being receptive to certain devices and people and spirits and such. Okay, so when you think about how soul ties are formed, it's usually formed because something has entered into your spiritual man. And when, because your will, your mind, and your spirit are so interconnected, that spirit and that emotions is so close, when people get into, when you allow people to get into your space, right? We talk about people get through your space how? People get in your space by getting in your ear, through your sound. People get into your space by what you watch from your eyes. People get in your space by what you touch, right? People get in your space based on smell and all of that. So all those things connect you. Thank you for the heart party. Love you guys. You guys, awesome. So that's how you connect to the outside world. So in that, if you connect with something, if you spend a lot of time with somebody, if you are close proximity with somebody and you're constantly holding hands, constantly touching and interacting with this person, you start to form emotions for this person, right? You start to make up in your mind, I like this person, and you start to feel kind of certain kind of way, right? And so you start to get this type of feeling. And the more you do that, the more tying close you get to this person, you start to feel that closeness of a relationship. And the ultimate part of soul ties is oftentimes the sexual relationship. However, for spirits to transfer, it doesn't have to be a sexual relationship, right? But that's the ultimate, because obviously when a man has sex with a woman, he is depositing his spirit onto her. Hey, you guys, so glad you joined the scope. So at that very moment, that's what's happening. So that's the ultimate, but it just doesn't have to be that, because even the locking of hands can be very powerful. I think about the time when I was dating my husband, and we were like, we're abstaining, hey, we were, don't try to be doing too much, right? And we were dating probably for 2 or 3 months at this time. And I believe this was the first time that we had locked hands. I was like, I can't even say what that felt like. I was like, oh my God, like I could feel his spirit even through the locking of hands. So sometimes that can be where that tide is formed. And it's important for you to know, before you can even talk about breaking soul ties, it's important for you to know how they're formed, so you can identify, do I have soul ties in my life? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Have you experienced, you spent so much time with somebody and you feel like you cannot break free, let go, like you are so, you have been in a situation where you was, you know what I'm saying? Like so all in. Oh my God, yes. I remember that with this college guy I was dating, and it was like ridiculous. I felt like Ashanti. Y'all know that silly song Ashanti used to sing? When you call, I'll come running, baby. I know I can't sing, y'all, but that's what her song was, right? When you call, I'll come running, baby. I remember that song, and that was me. Oh my God. I was dating this guy, and I was all infatuated because he had a life. Because I was used to dealing with drug dealers and really bad guys. So this guy was like, he had his MBA and he had a job. So when he called, I was like, oh, I gotta go holler at him, you know what I'm saying? And just being at his beck and call. But I didn't realize, because he wasn't even treating me right? He just called me when he wanted, when the relationship was on his terms, all on his terms. And I didn't realize it. But at that time, I just was constantly running back to him because I had a serious soul tie with this guy, and I didn't realize it till years later. I think it's like went on for like 2 years, and then he could go 3 weeks without calling me, and then he called me, I'll be right there. Like, I was like, what took you so long? You know what I mean? You guys, hopefully you guys haven't been that silly, but that was me. I promise you, that was me. You know what I mean? And intimacy can form through communication and spending, yes, a lot of time together. Absolutely. Like I said, sex just adds so much cherry and cream and whipped cream and everything on top. You know, it makes it like to the 10th power, but you are so on it. Yes, emotional soul ties. Absolutely. And this person is on your mind all the time, and you're like, really, can I just not think about them for today? So anyway, and you know what? Once that soul tie is a form, and even sometimes it can. And let me say this: all soul ties aren't bad. All soul ties aren't bad. The bad soul ties is where you become one with someone that God never intended for you to be with. Right? That's obviously, you know, when you're single and you're dating somebody and you have a soul tie in that regard, or even when you're married. Come on, you guys. Yes, thank you. David and Jonathan, even, you know, they can be a brotherly love, soul tie. They could be a fatherly, motherly, all that. Even with my husband, you know, I have a soul tie with him. But we know that the marriage bed is undefiled, and marriage is something that God blesses. Hey, Kay Elizabeth. So glad you guys are sneaking on the scope. I know you guys are doing the PJ tonight. They're doing the PJ thing. Pastors and members. Absolutely. So all soul ties don't have to be bad. But the ones that are, we need to break it. Yes, my college friend had me wrapped around his finger. Yes, I know. And we try to figure out, you know, and sometimes we don't even realize we're not being treated good. But even sometimes when we realize we're not being treated good, we still find ourselves staying. And it's because we feel like we've already given this person our soul. And in a sense, sometimes we do. We give them our soul by opening up to them and spending so much time with them and allowing them into those senses. Talk later about marriage bed. Yes. So, hey, let me go to the second thing I want to tell you guys. Now, another thing that reaffirms soul ties could be like vows, commitments, promises. And out of place, those things can get you in trouble. And God really tells us, especially with him, he tells us, don't even make no promise, because he know we ain't gonna keep that promise. You know, but obviously even in certain things, we do make commitments and promises. And those sometimes reaffirm the soul tie. So I can think about, you know, even as young as when I first lost my virginity, one of the biggest commitments I had made to the guy, you know, we was going on and on about just being in a relationship with him, and he kept telling me, well, if you love me, you'll have sex with me, and you know what I mean? He was trying to get me to reaffirm this commitment with him because I already made the commitment that I wanted to be with him. So sometimes our commitments say, oh, I'll be there for you, be there with you, whatever. Even marriage can be a further to reaffirm that tie. So let's talk about how to break it. 3 things, you guys. And if you guys have stuff, I'm so grateful you guys are being interactive. And if this is resonating with you, if you're being blessed by this, I challenge everybody on the scope to sow 500 hearts tonight. Won't you do that and show some love? Thank you in advance. Thank you in advance for the heart party. Thank you, green hearts. I appreciate that. So, hey, 3 things about how to break soul ties. I'm going to make it real simple. So first, you know, identify that, okay, I had soul ties, whatever. And you can be single, married, and have soul ties. Understand. Bad soul ties you want to break. So the first thing you want to do is you got to undergo a physical separation. A physical separation, right? So if you have a soul tie, I'm going to use the dating example. You dated somebody, you're not dating them no more, but you still find yourself thinking about them. You're still having flashbacks and all of this. And perhaps you're still seeing them, because I know that sometimes they say, oh, I'm not going to date him no more. But then you're still dating him. Are you still seeing him? Are y'all still hanging out? Y'all having Netflix and chill? Okay. Okay. So with all of that, you need to have a physical separation. Thank you for the heart party. You have to have a physical separation from this person. You know what I mean? And then once you do that, so that means that you're no longer going to be around them. If it's not a healthy relationship, it's not a relationship that's serving you, why are you engaging? You have to understand that you are better than that you deserve God's best. And if you could think about it as being in the theater, or, you know, and having seats, right? And you're sitting in a seat, and if you're connected to the wrong person and soul tie, that person, even if they're not physically there, they can still be there spiritually, or sometimes they're physically there spiritually. Either way, they're occupying a space, so God can't really put that he desire in your life, because you already got somebody filling that space. So you have to stop allowing people just to fill that space and fill that void if that's not God's call. And you like, well, how do I know if it's God's plan? How do I know if this guy, nobody's perfect, Jill. Like, come on now, you already married. Like, what are you talking about? You got your boo thing. I get that. However, I get that. You know it's God because it lines up with the Word of God. And if you don't know what the Word of God says, we got to get to the reading. We got to get to the reading of the James and the Romans and the Corinthians. Those are some of my favorite books of the Bible, Ephesians, that really speak very plainly to you about what it is to live a life of holiness, what it is to live as a Christian. So easy saying even when you don't want them, they are even more. Yeah, it is. But what happens is when you don't want them, they start to see that you are becoming the best version of yourself, that you perhaps don't need them. And come on, you guys, men by trade are predators, they tend to want to chase. They want to be the predator, if you will, in a sense, that they want to chase you. And sometimes when we like somebody so much, we don't let them chase. So we end up not getting the guy we want, but the guy we really want, we end up being the chaser, and it turns them off. So we have to learn that the only thing we're chasing after, the only body that we're chasing after, is chasing after the heart of God. So, and let that guy be the chaser. And if you're not into him, you just have to be like, I'm good. Because that's what sometimes we find ourselves settling, because the guys we really like don't like us because we too pressed. But we ain't going to do that no more. We're not going to be pressed. We're going to be like, the only person I'm chasing is God. So if you about that life and you trying to be with me, then you can chase me. I'll be open to you, for things if you're coming to me the right way. But if you're not, I ain't going to be okay, y'all. Sharonda's still there. Who is on me? Who's here with me still? You guys, share with me, if you've had experience like that, you know what I mean? Like, you end up being a chaser. You're like, dang, I really like him, but okay. You can put a wine, guys. Like, I end up being a chaser, and I was trying, okay. We ain't trying to be about that life. Like, ain't nobody got time. More people need to know about this. Absolutely. They do need to know about this. Thank you, Sharonda. She's like, I'm all in. So, hey, I told you guys you got to have a physical separation. So first, we're going to boot and scoot them out that seat. And after they're physically gone out of the seat, spiritually, we got to separate ourselves. And let me tell you, I literally had to pray. I was being chased and become the chaser. That happens sometimes, because then, after they feel like they got you, you may then start to get too comfortable. And I tell you, even while my husband's sitting right here, like, I, even still to say, I don't allow myself to be so absorbed and so involved in him and his life and what he's doing. I always keep my composure of what I'm doing, and I'm always focused on chasing after God. Now, I do cater to my husband. Sometimes I make him breakfast, dinner, all of this type of stuff. But I'm not just so overly engulfed and concerned about what he's doing in his life. Like, I got my own life. Like, yeah. So anyway, that's another tip, is, you don't always be available for people. We can't do that. So anyway, the third thing I want to tell you, once you have had that physical separation, that spiritual separation, then you need to have a spiritual restoration. Now, I was about to tell you in the spiritual part that I prayed. I literally prayed exactly in all relationships. Yeah. I literally prayed to God to separate me as far as the east is from the west. This was some deep level soul ties. You telling me somebody haven't talked to you in 4 weeks, they call you and you come run into them and being with them in an intimate way? That's some foolishness right there. Like, when you allow somebody else to have that much control over your mind and your will, that's some deep soul ties. And that's where I was, you know what I mean? Literally, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit, but it's the truth, the whole truth, and unfortunately nothing but the truth. You know what I mean? But once I realized that, I'm like, I don't even have, my will had been submitted to this person. My mind was I was so subjected to this person. My spirit was so subjected to this person. These are evidence that I was all up and through some soul ties. All up and through it, you guys. Like, hot mess. I was a hot mess with the soul ties. Oh my God. So So anyway, I had to pray. And that's biblical, you guys. Praying that God separates you as far as the east is from the west. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Lord, this can't be life. This can't be about my life. I can't be like all strung out over somebody who don't even call me. Like, really? We doing that? I was doing that. Shame. So anyway, the third thing is freedom looks good on you. Encourage. Thank you. It does. And I can't even believe that I allowed that to happen for like a couple of years, you guys. Craziness. So anyway, spiritual restoration. And that really would help me get my spiritual restoration, because I was like I said, I was hurting. I was so scorned emotionally, hurting emotionally. My mind was being controlled by this guy. My will was being controlled by this guy. At least I was submitting that to him and giving him all the power and all the authority over me. And I had to realize, like I said, I started to cry out to God, like, God, you got to get me out of this. I don't know what I got myself into, but God, I think my husband's listening to my scope. He's probably very interested in this. I'm like, God, you got to get me out of this. I don't know how I got myself into this, but look here. You know, God, Jesus, you guys got to help a sister out. Like, help me. I know you came to save, and I need to be saved. So in that moment, that's really, because that was happening, I guess around, 2006, just around 2006. And that's when I really started to say, okay, God, I got to give myself a way back to you, because I am lost. And I really just started to read the Word of God. And that's why I always talk about the Word of God exposing the truth, which I just realized that. I realized that for, yes, Lord, call on him many times to get my mind right. What? And won't he do it? Won't he do it, right? Oh my God. Like, he don't be playing. Put a 1 on the screen for me. Hey, Proverbs 31 bless. Put a 1 on the screen for me if you know God will do it for you. Hey, Jennifer, so glad you're on the scope. Yes, he will do it. He will do it. Hey, Shakina. Hey, 1, right? Oh my God. He will do it for you. And we just have to submit to him. And I used to say, because I realized that at some point, around that time, I started to realize that I had believed so many lies. Hey, Leona, so glad you're on the scope. I have believed so many lies that society put out there, and they still be putting out there. You know, I don't watch a lot of TV, you guys. Honestly, I don't. You know, they still be putting out there, Housewives of Atlanta, Housewives of LA, Basketball Wives, whoever wives, and, you know, scandals, which I used to watch some of that foolishness. Which, I don't know, I think the whole attorney thing, yeah. But anyway, you know, but through that, scandals and How to Get Away with Murder, all these shows and TVs, and not just that, but even sometimes people in our relationships, people we know in our close relationship, because what they're saying and what they're believing is not of God, they're giving us lies. Because let me tell you, how many of you guys know, if you know this is the truth, please put a 1 on the screen. How many of you know if it does not line up with the Word of God, it is a lie? Like, it's not true. You're not going to prosper from that. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't know that. It's so important, you guys. That's why, you know, many of you guys know I wrote a book. Thanks, Trail, for inviting your followers. So glad you're on the scope. Love you, sis. So, hey, many of you know I wrote a book called The Biggest Lies Women Believe About Men Dating and Themselves, Discovering the Truth of a Fabulous Life and Fabulous Relationship. And the reason why I wrote that book and I titled that is because I realized that in my own life, I had spent so many years believing so many lies. I believed so many lies that about who I was and who I wasn't. If you're with me, if you believe lies about yourself, go ahead and just say, you know, that was me. You know, we believe the lies that you're not beautiful enough, you're not smart enough, right? You believe the lies that you're too dark-skinned, you're too overweight, you're too skinny, your hair's not straight enough. Your hair now, they saying your hair's too straight. I mean, can I catch a break? But you know what? If we believe what the world says and try to conform, we will never be who God has called us to be. And again, that's why when we started this organization, we started it off with Romans 12, 1 and 2. And the 2 part of that says, you know what? We're no longer going to conform to what whoever, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Shonda, Rhonda, Linda say we should be. I'm going to be what God says, and I'm going to encourage you to be what God says. We have to release ourselves from the opinions of what other people think about who you are and who you be. Because a lot of times is a lie. If it doesn't line up with the word of God, it's a lie. So many of you guys are pinging on now, and we were just talking about how do you break the soul tie? Like, you know, and I just gave a 3-step process of how to break that soul tie. But I want to now, I'm going to go over the 3 steps. Yes. See some hearts. Thank you, green hearts. Thank you for the love. If you're on the scope, I encourage you to sow 500 hearts if this is resonating with you. And I encourage you to ask me any questions you have right now about dating, right now about relationships, right now about having a healthy relationship, and what does that take? Because I can tell you, let me tell you these 3 points because I'm about to go in. The 3 points, again, that I said was, first, you got to separate yourself physically from that person that you have a negative, unhealthy soul tie from. You have to separate yourself spiritually. Pray about it. Ask God to remove their spirit from you. And then you got to go into your spiritual restoration by seeking God and giving God your whole heart and making a commitment that you're going to please God over pleasing man. And I say man, but that's as people in the world. Because I know I was a recovering people pleaser. So I had to be freed from that. I had to be totally free from that. So you guys, if you will, thank you so much for sowing the hearts. If you have a question about dating, if you have a question about relationships, go ahead and post it there. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share with you what I was about to say. I said that. Oh, living sacrifice. So Romans 12:1 says that I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you honor your body as a living sacrifice, purely and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service, right? So that's saying, hey, I'm gonna submit and commit to God in this moment, in this hour. I'm no longer gonna be letting some man that I ain't talked to in 4 weeks or even 4 days or 4 hours or whatever, some person on the world, on this earth, control my will, control my spirit, control my mind. The devil is a lie. He is a lie. So you guys have any questions as it pertains to dating, as it pertains to relationships, as it pertains to making the right choice? You know, because I was about to go in about this. So I was going to tell you guys, let me tell you. You know, right now, today, I'm really so grateful that today I have an extremely healthy marriage. I love my husband. He loves me. We communicate very well. You know, it's good. And I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for the relationship we have. But you know what? I haven't always had a history of healthy relationships. No. As you heard about my hot mess in college. But even before that, it started a lot longer than that I had a history of unhealthy relationships. And it really started with me feeling rejected, right? In the very first relationship I was in, you know, the guy act like, oh, you love me, you make love to me, and went on a whole thing about it. And I finally did it. Okay. And then why he dumped me like the next day, like, and had 2 other girlfriends. It was a mess. So from that point, I felt rejected. You know, I felt abandoned. I felt like so betrayed. And so these type of that emotional damage that was done in that moment carried with me for years, really decades, you guys. I'm talking about years, for decades on end, until I started to take a step back and recognize and reflect what was the situations in my life that has tarnished, has chipped and damaged my emotions, has impacted and been part of my spirit, have tormented or perhaps even tampered with my mind about who I am and how I show up in relationships. Because when that happens, you become very insecure. You know what I mean? When it happens, you become very insecure. If you can resonate with that, tap the screen. You know, when you are abandoned or when you're rejected, it makes you feel less of yourself. You feel like you're not worthy. But let me tell you, I came in to tell you that, ladies, you are so worthy. How many single people have I have in the scope tonight? If you're single, would you put a 1? Because I want to know how many single people I have. Because if it is a lot of singles, I'm going to encourage you tonight to not be discouraged. Because I remember when I was single, I was so discouraged. I'm like, this whole marriage thing, man, I don't know if this thing is going to happen for me, because like, I'm like almost 30 and like, I don't have any prospects. Like, I'm not about that life. Okay, so it seems like a lot of singles on the scope. I want to encourage you that you are good enough. You are good enough. I heard past 30, right? Even sometimes past 30. So hey, you are good enough. Let me tell you, the difference between you being where you want in your relationships, or you attracting the man that God has for you, and where you are right now, is having the mindset to know that you deserve it. You deserve it. Let me tell you, you deserve it. And once you start to show up that way and believe that, then these little Tom, Dick, and Harrys who ain't mean no good, ain't talking about nothing, still trying to get you laid and all kind of foolishness, conquer, as my mama say, trying to see how many girls he can conquer, he ain't gonna fool with you. Because you're gonna be like, I'm not about that life. Like, what? Boy, bye. I said, bye, Troy. Yes, exactly. And believe that with all, yes, with all your heart. Believe that with all your heart, that you are worth it, that you deserve God's best. You know what I mean? I should do a prayer for husbands. Like, you know, because you do your own. Maybe I'll do one. I have so many ideas, I never get to all of them. But do your own prayer for your husband. Maybe I will next Friday. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But do a prayer and ask God for the things that you desire in a man. And we're not going to be with the superficial. You can go to our Facebook page. That's officially Detour Movement Inc. Page. You can go to that fan page. And for the last 5 days, I've been posting things about what's a godly man. Yes, and believe that God is going to give you that. You know what I mean? And when you know what he looks like, not necessarily through the physical, but when you know what he looks like through his work, through his attitude, through his behavior and conversation, then you will be able to recognize that. And God will let him know. If he's the one, God will let him know as well as letting you know. So glad you joined the Scope. Hey there, is it TJ? So glad you joined the Scope. Yes, 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 yes. TJ, where are you scoping in from? So just know you are worth it. You are enough. You're beautiful enough. You're all of that. You're smart enough. You have everything it takes. You're intelligent. You know, you have everything it takes to be what God has called you to be. The word of God tells you that. It tells you that. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says that, you know, God wants you to be prosperous and he wants you to have a future of hope. And in the book of John, it talks about that if you abide in God and he abide in you, you can ask anything you desire and it shall be done. And I know many of you guys have heard it says, you know, I think knowing he is the one can be challenging. It can be challenging. But if you have very specific things that you know to look for, that provides a lot of clarity. And not a long time ago, I did a scope between a God man versus a good man. You can go to my personal page, I believe it's a public post, to Jill Bullock on Facebook. And I don't post a huge amount on Facebook, so it's not that far back. It was a scope on a good man versus a God man, and I talk about it. And also recently I just posted what is a God man on Facebook, and you can get an idea of what that characteristics will look like. Now, this man should already have expressed interest in you. Now, I don't see there's nothing wrong with necessarily, you know, initiating a conversation or perhaps even inviting him out for coffee or whatever. However, if he's already expressed interest in you, you know, he will make it known. Well, most guys, because some guys are slow. Like, some guys are slow, but you got to kind of know and maybe even be straightforward to see and not really beat around the bush. You know, say, oh, you're trying to marry me, but you may say, oh, okay, you seem like a very interesting guy. Do you think sometime we can go for coffee or, you know, whatever, and see if he's interested, but he may not be. But if he's not interested in you, obviously he's not the one. No, he's not the one. God will not do you like that. Like, he won't do you like that. So anyway, you guys, I don't know what time it is. I thought, oh, you know what? I need to download the new Scope app, because now the Scope app, you should be able to see how much time. What time is it, you guys? I'm like just going on and on. I'm trying to do like 30 minutes. I feel like I've been on here longer than 30 minutes. Can somebody give me a time check? So there is a way. I got to download the new Scope app because it's upgraded. There's like 4 new upgrades with Scope, and I need to get with the program. So I'm going to be here. Let me share with you guys, 8:45. Okay, let me share with you guys a couple of things that we have coming up. So I mentioned my book earlier. If you don't have it, I encourage you to get it. Will the Scope on Facebook still come up? Yeah, you can go to my videos. Well, you know what? I don't post it as a Scope. Girl, no. I save these things to my phone, and I upload it right to Facebook. I fix Facebook. They don't like Periscope. So I believe any scope you put on there with Periscope is going to do nothing because they be hating on Periscope. So I upload the raw video. If you don't have this book, The Biggest Lies Women Believe About Men Dating Themselves, go to the website, thebiggestlieswomenbelieve.com, and grab a copy. Okay? You know, you can also sign up for, I think I still have the 21-day challenge. That was an awesome challenge. But even if you read one chapter a day, or if you can sit down and read the whole thing, it'll probably take you a weekend to read it. Get this book. This is good. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And post on Amazon. Let me know what you think of it. It's on Amazon too. So anyway, also, we are having the challenge come up for the Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31 day challenge. Transform the transformational process according to Proverbs for the next 31 days. You guys can grab that. You can get a copy of the book. We just ordered 100 books. We're inviting 100 women on a journey. Actually, our girl Juanita Braylon is leading. She's leading this section of the Proverbs 31 for this time, for this challenge. Is starting April 1st. You can go to Facebook at Proverbs 31 Day Challenge and join the Facebook group. And also, you can go grab a copy of the book. I think they have a link that you can grab the book for like $14.99. Great read. If you're looking to learn really what does a Proverbs 31 woman look like today, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Easy to read, 5 minutes a day. You can get through this, okay? And lastly, but definitely not least, we have Trail's book, which is the Rolling with the Punches, Learning to Triumph in the Midst of Adversity. If you're going through adversity with maybe perhaps going through a divorce or something like this, or financial adversity, or, you know, feeling like self-identity, all that, I would encourage you to get this book, Rolling with the Punches, Learning to Triumph in the Midst of Adversity. Really great book, really great read. It's a page turner, and you will be blessed. I believe you can still go to rollingwiththepunches.com and get the book, or you can just go to our website, detourmovement.org, click down, and you can grab a copy of this book. So hey, you guys, we're hosting a conference this year in Maryland, and I want every one of you to be there because we've been already planning this conference for months. It's happening August 6th and 7th, and I really want you to be in the building because we're going to go deep. Yes, 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 yes. We are going to go deep talking about relationships. This is my favorite topic, you guys, in case you haven't figured it out yet. Yeah. I believe in transformation, and I do believe, you know, a big part of what we do is transformation, but I really like to focus on the personal development that leads to your relationship transformation, because everything in our lives is about our relationships. God created you relationally, right? So everything is about relationships. So we have to know, how do we show up in our own skin, being comfortable, being confident, so we can have and experience the relationships we desire, because the quality of your relationships is going to determine the quality of your life, right? So join us there. We're going to be in Silver Springs, Maryland. We're going to be posting about the various hotels that's in the area that you can join us at any of the hotels. Very affordable. Trail just bought a ticket from Charleston for $123. Trail, you guys didn't hear what I just said. Trail just bought a ticket from Charleston for $123. Round trip flight. I'm going to need y'all to get with it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Tickets are on sale for $97 for a 2-day amazing event. And we're going to go deep. We're going to have some deep sessions about talking about relationships, talking about, you know, for single and married women. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And we're also going to talk about business, because we got to be about our business. Like, we are professional women, and like, we got to do our life and raise up for the kingdom, as I like to say, because it is time to rise up for the kingdom. So hey, you guys, I've been going at it for a while. I know my husband's like, I wish you would end that scope like 30 minutes ago. So I'll go ahead and end it now. I love you guys. Meet me back here next Friday, 8 o'clock. I'm also going to work on getting the scope up for Power Up Wednesdays. We have Power Up Wednesdays, so I'm working on getting my scope. We got a home phone, so I'm going to try to work it out, see if I can get the conference line on the phone and Periscope from my cell phone or from my iPad mini. And I feel like one other thing, I think most of you guys are already part of the DMI Fabulous I Am members group, but in case you aren't, if somebody can put that up on the screen for me, I appreciate it. In case you aren't, if you can go to DMI Fabulous I Am members and go there, on Facebook and join part of an amazing community. If you are a woman of faith and you're like, I'm about that God life and I want to have a close relationship with God, you need to be on that Facebook page, okay? That group. DMI Fabulous I Am members. So anyway, that is truly my time. I appreciate you guys joining this scope. Love you so much. Pray that this blessed you. I will repost this on Facebook. Thank you so much, Sharonda. I appreciate you. You guys have a good night. It's Happy Good Friday. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. I forgot to mention it's my birthday tomorrow. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Not a holiday. What? It is a holiday. It's a holiday. It's a holiday. It's my birthday. So it's my birthday, y'all. I'm excited. I'm just gonna be relaxing. Thank you for the birthday shout out. I'm gonna be relaxing on my B-Day. I'm just so grateful. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm just so grateful to see another year. You know, I don't take it lightly. Thank you. So anyway, you guys, thanks for the heart party. Thanks for the love. You all have a good night and be blessed.